Hello. How are you? Oh my goodness. So we had sprints this morning and now this. I had to get myself a cup of really strong black tea in hopes that it would wake me up. It's not working. It's just not working. Hey Jen, I see there's Jody Jean and Jenna. Oh my. So anyway, what are y'all up to? It has been a very weird week for me. Um, I was having a really hard time getting my feet under me early in the week, and I was pretty much ignoring my plan and my schedule, and I'm about to yawn again. I apologize. So I just wasn't feeling it. I was just doing the bare minimum, the things that needed to be done, though I did kick off the first uh, workshop for Scroll and Scribe on Monday, and that was a ton of fun. But it's just been a really weird week for me. It's like, well, I went to therapy on Thursday and I said to my therapist that it feels like my get up and go got up and went. And he was like, maybe it did. Maybe you're still burnt out. You know, just because you're on the other side of a major burnout does not mean you're ready to jump back in with both feet. And I could hear Kay's voice in my ear going, would you slow down for 5 minutes? Um, so that was kind of the plan, was to slow down for the next couple of weeks and almost treat it like coming back to work after being um, off for like illness or an injury or something like that. You know how you get one of those back to work plans where you're like just, starting small and building on your hours. So that was kind of the plan. Um, and I'm wondering how I'll be able to stick to it. Well, I did kick off Scroll and Scribe, but it was a single workshop. It was an hour, you know. I had the workbook already made, so it wasn't a whole lot of prep and this sort of thing, but you're right. I mean, the bare minimum still moved the needle for me, which if I can't move that needle, I'm not going to take this time that I need to rest and recover. So I did the things that I needed to do, but kept that to that just enough to move the needle so that I feel like I'm accomplishing something. Because frankly, I have never been here before where I can't push through the exhaustion on a daily basis, on an hourly basis. I was just saying to Tracy and Kay that I think that for the next little while, I'm going to be doing Mugs Milestones an hour earlier, like closer to the end of my sprint, so that I can knock off earlier in the day on Sunday. Hey, Sherry, outside in the hot sun planting flowers. That actually sounds nice. Not the hot sun part, but the planting flowers part. So that was kind of the plan because I am absolutely fighting exhaustion here. Um, and I know that if I don't slow down, I'm going to just be right back into burnout before I even know what to do with myself. And I know that I will get grief from all of you if I do that. I know I will. So, and it was funny because one of the things that I spoke to my therapist about was it's kind of like, because both he and I have backgrounds in addictions. And so I use some metaphors. I use metaphors a lot from the addictions field. And I said, it's kind of like when somebody wants to get sober, but they can't do it for themselves because they don't love themselves enough. Not saying I don't love myself, because I do, but they don't love themselves enough to get sober for themselves. So they have to do it for somebody else, like their kids or their spouse or their parents or, whatever. And that's okay for the first while until they can learn how to love themselves. So the whole idea was my default state of being is work, 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 work. I mean, I work 7 days a week. So that's my default setting. And I know I can't do that right now. So I don't have the spoons to change that default setting. You see my conundrum here? So his suggestion was I do it for you guys. So I can't be there for you if I'm burnt out and then I really do need to take time off. So do it for the people that you care about and the people that you love until I'm I've got my brain back where it needs to be to start rewiring that default setting. I hope I'm making sense here because I don't feel like I'm making sense. But that's the plan. That's the plan. I did no plotting this week and I did no editing. And that really bothered me. I'm not going to lie. That really bothered me because I really wanted to at least get into the edits. And I've done nothing. I haven't had the spoons. Thank you, Rita. Thank you. I just haven't had the spoons. I have my creativity is completely sapped. Completely sapped. And until I get my feet back under me, I think that I need to build on that as well. Not just the number of hours that I'm putting in a week, but like stacking my tasks. So next week I did my plan during sprints this morning. And so for next week, I am going to be doing some edits, but instead of doing 30 hours of edits like I had originally planned, I'm going to do 10. And I'm not going to start until Wednesday. Because Mondays and Tuesdays, I do consulting in the morning for the company I used to work for. So it is all very technical, right? Because it's a software as a service company. So it's all very technical. And I find even on my good days that having that part of my brain, actually the left side of my brain, having that technical aspect take up my entire morning, I cannot switch gears. Like I can't stop, have lunch, and then start writing or plotting or editing or whatever. So I have to do admin stuff. I have to do things that don't require my creative brain on Mondays and Tuesdays. Normally on Mondays, I do what I call bare minimum Mondays, which is I do 3 hours of consulting. And then it is just a few admin tasks, or like tomorrow, now I have a meeting with my business advisor, like things like that that take no brain power. So, Jen, I don't disagree. Plotting, for me anyway, it takes way more creativity than actually writing it, right? Because that's where you're laying all the foundation, or at least that's where I lay my foundation. I find it so much easier to write when I have a solid outline, a solid plot, and I know that I'm hitting my beats, because then I don't have to worry about, the only thing I have to worry about is dialing back the characters if they wander off into the bushes, which they do a lot. They just wander off, and Inka's not here to make a joke out of that. She would. But hello, Heather. So, that's kind of where I am. And I'm going to be honest. I hate it. I freaking hate it. I hate having to dial back my hours. I know I have to, right? I know I do. I know that it's all about like I said, like, I was, I think, was it Mel's challenge? Yeah, Mel's challenge. Slow down to speed up, which is what Amber McHugh told me a couple weeks ago. She's like, you need to slow down so you can speed up. I need to slow down and take care of myself now and actually recover from the burnout. Because one thing that I've learned is there's the ramp up, there's the crash, but then you've got to ramp back up again, because it's not like, okay, I burned out, there was my crash. The crash is over, now I can get back to work. It's like any injury. You actually have to recover from it. And I hate it. I hate it. But it is what it is. So I am a little concerned about my schedule. I'm a little concerned about my publishing schedule now because of it. Now, mind you, Vengeful Soul's still going to come out middle towards the end of September. Scroll and Scribe is in a really good place where it's, just running the workshops now. I do have a workbook that I have to make for this coming Saturday, the workshop this coming Saturday. But it's in a really good place. And I've got almost all of the workshops planned or filled from the rest of the team for the entire quarter. I think there's only one or two that I'm doing myself that I still have to decide what topics are going to be covered. So it's in a really good place, and I'm really pleased. But if I could have my time back, I would have stretched this out a little bit longer. Because I know I burnt out because of the amount of hours I was putting in every week, 50, 60, 65, 67 hours was my longest week. And that was the week before Inspire Indie. And I should have either not driven myself that hard, or I should have asked for more help. I did ask for help, and everybody that I asked for help was all like, yeah, I'll help you. And it was amazing. It was amazing. But you know how we get? Because, we're writers, and writing is a solitary sport, right? So we're used to doing everything ourselves. We're used to doing the writing, the initial editing, the marketing, all of that. We're used to doing that ourselves. And especially when you're a new business and you're just getting into your launch, you don't always have the money to hire extra help, which I certainly did not. Any money that I have is going into my editing and my cover art and all this sort of thing for my books. So, you kind of like, I'm a one-person show. But at the same time, you have to not drive yourself so hard. So, like, don't be me. Don't drive yourself so hard, because you're going to end up burning out, and it's not a good place to be. The brain fog alone, you guys, I'm telling you right now, I feel like I can barely string a sentence together. Yeah. But excuse me, on a happy note, I am taking some of this downtime to kind of redo my space in here. And I'm really enjoying that. One thing that I should be able to do starting tomorrow is throw some vinyl onto my deck over here, because the way I had things set up, there wasn't enough space to spin a record. Like, there was stuff like right up against my record player. And for finishing the rough draft of Vengeful Soul, I bought myself Michael Jackson's Thriller, which was the very first album that I ever bought with my own money. And then of course over the years I got rid of all my records because then CDs came out and that was all the rage, right? And now we're back to the vinyl, which in my opinion is better sound anyway. But so speaking my language, I love my vinyl collection. And I have some really nice vinyl in my collection, including David Bowie's Greatest Hits, which was sent to me by a friend over in the UK who went to school with David Bowie. And he had it in his collection and he gifted it to me. And I was just, it just like literally just showed up in my mail one day and I didn't even know who it was from. And then I remembered he said he went to school with David Bowie. So I emailed him and he's like, yeah, I just thought I was going through and, kind of decluttering some stuff. So I thought I'd send it to you. And I was like, holy moly. And it's in mint condition and I love it. But I have not played any vinyl since we moved into this apartment 4.5 years ago. When I was living in New Brunswick and when I was living by myself after Avery moved out, I always had vinyl on the turntable. Always. And now that the price of vinyl has gone down again, I think I'm going to start adding to my collection. I would really like to get some Fleetwood Mac and that kind of thing into my vinyl collection again. Because right now it's mostly like, I have like a lot of Shaka Khan, who is my favorite musician. I have, what else do I have? I have some ABBA, and I want to get Queen's Greatest Hits on vinyl, which you can buy brand new on Amazon apparently. So there's that. So tell me what you guys have been up to. I'm curious. It feels like it's been longer than 2 weeks since we chatted. One thing that we have the same taste in music, right, Sherry? It's all about like 90% of the stuff that I have in my vinyl collection the songs were written by Prince, right? And I don't feel like music has been the same since he passed, because he used to write music for almost everybody. But one of the things that I'm trying to do on this YouTube channel, and I'm waiting for them to get back to me, is the membership thing. Because a lot of people had indicated they would like to do the membership and do like private sprints. So, and like maybe some other little things in there, like a writing prompt party or, like a mini course or something like that. So that's something that I'm looking into, but probably I won't be planning it until I'm back up to full strength again. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Oh, Prince died on your birthday? Oh, that sucks. That sucks. He was a genius. He was a genius. But so you can if you haven't gotten into the poll in the community tab yet, you just scroll down a couple of posts. It's there because I would love to know what you guys think about like what you would like to see in a YouTube membership. So once they get back to me and I am back up to my regular hours, then I'll probably put that together. I'm going to put up another poll maybe today before I quit for the day. I'll probably do it before I quit for the day, to figure out what times would be best. I bet you and your mom cried all day. Oh, yeah. I didn't like that. That wasn't good. You should still be there. Thank you, Jen. I appreciate that, honey. I really do. But I'm going to put up a poll so that you guys can vote on like what would be the best time and frequency of those sprints. So it would probably be like no more. It would be 2 hours. It would be a 2-hour thing. then it would probably be a weeknight because my weekends are full. I work weekends and they're pretty full. So I will put that up before the day is out, and we'll see what you guys think. I think that's something I'm going to enjoy because I think it's kind of a way to just have a little bit more of a not closed community, but tighter community, and also give us a chance to have some fun with things like writing prompt parties and stuff like that, right? So yeah, so I mean that's where I am. I don't really feel like I have a whole lot to talk about. Um, because things have slowed down for obvious reasons. And as much as I would like to start the plotting of book two, it's going to have to wait. I can't do both. I can't do both plotting and editing. I can only do one or the other. So it's going to be editing first because I would like to have that in the can by the time the end of August rolls around. So um, I'm redoing the cover because the cover that I had gotten, it just wasn't what I wanted. And I was having a really hard time communicating with the cover artist, and I didn't feel like I was being listened to. So I just, I was like, okay, that money is gone. And I paid for, it wasn't a lot of money, but I did pay for 6 covers, and I just can't. So I was lucky enough to get on Jacqueline Sweet's books for August. So around the middle of August, she's going to start on my cover. And while she's working on the cover, I would like to be formatting because I'm that person that I really want to have a pre-order here, but I want the cover. I want the ebook cover before I do the pre-order. And I want to be able to upload the final file, right? Because I would be panicking not having that file up there. So I would like to probably start my pre-orders the 1st of September for Vengeful Soul. And I would imagine that Jacqueline will be able to get the cover done in a couple of weeks. She's amazing turnaround. So I'm really, really looking forward to that. But I think what I need to do is I need to concentrate mostly on Vengeful Soul and its launch before I get too deep into the writing of book 2. But I already have 23,000 words or 32,000 words. I can't remember which. So I've already started it. It's just now because book 1 is done, I don't know if I'm going to be able to use all those words or not. But we'll see. We'll see. And I don't know how long the edits of Vengeful Soul are going to take because I haven't even opened the document since Jenna sent it back. I mean, and that's the weird thing because y'all remember how I was like, oh my God, I'm really just fighting not to jump right into edits. And this week was supposed to jump into edits. And I just didn't have the spoons to do it. And that's okay. Like, that's the big thing, is that I have to keep reminding myself that this is the type of advice I give you guys, right? It's slow down. Don't burn yourself out. It's okay. It's still going to be there, right? The book's not going anywhere. Take care of yourself. I have to keep reminding myself that I need to take my own advice. This is right. And this is the part of jumping into the wind down, or the wind up. And that's it right there. I need to wind up as opposed to jump in because I can't afford to jump in right now. But just talking to you guys about the book, is the most excited I have been all week about this book. Right? I was not excited about it. And that's part of the problem. I know there's a couple of you here in the chat that can relate, where it's like, okay, the book is done. Next. Well, really, the book is not done. The edits still need to be done. The cover still needs to be done. The formatting still needs to be done. The launch still needs to be done. And I need to actually get it up for sale. Right? Burnout and exhaustion are both horrible. Yep. I thought I was slipping into depression. That's it. That's it, Rita. Because I mean, I have struggled with depression. Like after my father passed away, I had 6 solid months that I barely remember. I barely remember them. I wasn't working because I had taken time off of work from the time dad went into palliative care. And because I was working for that funeral home answering service, I could not do that. I ended up leaving that job because I couldn't go back to it. And the lady the HR lady, she said that's why they make people whose parents or somebody close to them passes away, they make them take 6 weeks off. So 6 weeks, and they make them take it off, and then you sit down with them and decide, can you handle that job? Which is too bad because I loved that job and I was really good at it. And I loved it as hard as it was. As hard as it was to be talking to every person that you talk to, it was the worst day of their life, especially when it was, parents calling about their children. But I couldn't do it. And then I was offered the job with the software company at my dad's funeral. See, the guy that I worked for, whom mom has been working for 25 years, and the owner of the company and the CFO are like family. And the CFO was at dad's funeral. And we were talking and he offered me the job. He said, but it doesn't start yet. I'll let you know when it starts. And it didn't start for 6 months. And I fell into this huge depression because I had nothing to do and I wasn't ready to start writing again or anything like that. And that's what I thought was happening to me a couple of weeks ago. I thought because I had this big, huge ramp up to Inkspire Indie, and I had all of this work that I had to do, and I was constantly busy and constantly driven and constantly excited. And then Inkspire Indie happened, and it was like popping a balloon. And I thought, well, great. I'm depressed again. I don't like this again. And then, after having a conversation with Kay, I realized I wasn't depressed. I was burnt, like completely burnt. So it's really easy to mistake burnout for depression because the symptoms are pretty much the same, but the recovery is not. And this is it too, Sherry. It's not right. It's not as fun editing and rewrites. It's not as fun as that first rough draft where every word you write is exciting because you're telling the story, quote unquote, for the first time. But then you have to polish it and go back up. And by the time you are done, you're sick of it. It's like Sarah said on her coffee chat on Friday, like she's ready to be done with Vanessa Shaw. She's so ready because she's probably sick of it. She's lived in that story world for 2 years now. And I get that. When you live in the story for that long, after a while, I find for myself anyway, I start making mistakes that like leaving stuff out of the stories that needs to go in there. And it's because I already know the story so well that my brain just like, oh, everybody already knows that. Well, nobody else has read it. Right at that point, nobody else has read it. And this is the thing, Sherry, is that you keep stopping. And that saps your creativity. Right. And Jen, you are so right. There aren't any timelines for any of it. I have not announced the release date of Vengeful Soul, other than to say it would be mid to late September. I have not given a release date. And if I need to push that off until the end of October because I'm not recovered, I can do that. right? I don't, as long as I don't put the pre-orders up, and I won't put pre-orders up until I know the book maybe only has a few hours worth of work left. Um, I won't do it because I'm so scared of not making that release date and then losing the pre-order privileges. Like Sarah put the fear of God and the fear of Amazon into me with that when it happened to her. And I don't want that to happen. So yeah, see, Rita loves revisions, right? Right? Keep feeling like I'm almost done and ready for book 3. I So Vengeful Soul, I've lived with this story for a while, but not to the extent like when I first came up with the idea for the story, it was basically just a fluffy paranormal romance with some angst in it. Instead, it turned out to be this deep intrigue revenge story. And this character, this nameless character who you think is the big bad until you get about 3/4 of the way into the book and you realize that he's not. I didn't intend for him to have a backstory, and he was just there to screw things up for the main characters. And I'm reading through, and there's these two side characters I mean, they're side characters, but they're pretty integral to the plot, like the overarching plot of the series. And I had a massive revelation about their relationship. And I'm like, "Ooh, now I have to write a novella." That's not going to happen yet. That's a 2025 problem. But there will be a novella. It'll be their backstory, and it's going to be very interesting. Very interesting. And that's one of the things I love about this story world is that it's because they're demons, and because I have a whole mathematical equation for how the time runs differently in the hellscape than it does in the earth realm. And there so one of the characters is a natural born demon. And there are only a handful of natural born demons left because of a big war with the elves. And their counterpart was born human, but is a shapeshifter. So they're immortal. And they are literally tens of thousands of years old. So there's a lot of room. There's a lot of room in there for a backstory for them. And it's just it upsets me that I can't just jump back into this with both feet. Because now just talking to, like I said, talking to you guys about it, I'm starting to get excited again. Right. So there will be in the next month, in the next 4 to 6 weeks, there will be a couple of more trailers. There will be, of course, a cover and release date trailer for Vengeful Soul. There will be a title release trailer for book 2. I love doing the trailers. I find that they give you like little snippets from the book. They are here on this channel if you're interested. They're also on the website. I do have a website for this series. It's called it's the hellscapesaga.com, and the trailers are up there. The website is not complete, but it's going to act as kind of a wiki for the series. So I'm constantly building it. And there's so much to get lost in when you have this kind of a series. I have no clear idea of how the series is going to end. I know how this tranche of books is going to end, but the ending has the possibility of continuing on with a new series with even some of the same characters. Again, demons, shapeshifters, they're all immortal, right? So I'm kind of excited to lose myself back in my writing now that Scroll and Scribe is everything, well, not everything, but almost everything is in place. One thing I am planning on doing in the next week or two is opening up my calendar for coaching. I will probably run some kind of a end of the summer special or something like that. But again, all of these things, I have to be super careful with the amount of time I'm putting in. I promised to myself that there would never be another 67-hour week. I'm 52 years old. I'm out of shape and I don't sleep well. So I don't have the energy or the want, wish, or desire to work another 67-hour week. It's crazy. I wouldn't have done it in my 20s. I wouldn't have done it in my 20s. But here I am, you know? So, I mean, that's kind of what's coming up. Hey, Cheryl, what do I use to make? I use Canva. So here's the thing with Canva. Do not ever use their music, ever. Because they cannot make up their mind what the licensing is for it. So what I do is I actually have 2 pieces of music that I use for the Hellscape Saga in my trailers. And each piece of music is like 6 minutes, 7 minutes long. So, and my trailers are less than a minute. So I'm able to, just pick bits and pieces out of them forever and a day. So I downloaded those from YouTube Studio because licensing is wide open on them. And then I upload those into Canva. Okay. Create my videos in Canva, download them, re-upload them. It's an extra step. I'm really kind of hoping that at some point Canva will have the ability to upload directly into YouTube, because now you can upload directly into like Facebook and Instagram. I think, if I remember correctly, that was their, like when they did that last big update there a few weeks ago. So like I said, I really enjoy it. I really enjoy it. I had no experience whatsoever making trailers. My client, who owns the media company, he has won awards for the commercials and stuff that he has made back in the day for one he did for Tourism Newfoundland with the whales. God, that was like the most insanely beautiful depiction of my home province. And he won awards all over the place for that commercial and like for some other ones. I sent my first trailer to him for critique. And he came back and he was like, "This feels like you do this for a living." And I'm like, yes. But like I said, I really just enjoy it. And I think that's part of it. But Canva's amazing. Like, you don't need Adobe and you don't need all of the big stuff to make a decent book trailer. What you need is an ear for fades and like fade ins, fade outs, where the crescendos and the music match up with the pictures. There's also one here on my channel where I thought I did a pretty good job of that. And it's for a novella that I'm writing called The Gentleman's Club. I really enjoyed, and it took me forever to get the music to match up with the candle flickering. Well, not forever, probably took me a solid 20 minutes because I was super picky about right where the change in the music hit with the video. So take a look at that one as well. I really enjoyed it, enjoyed making it. But I hear Jen, you know, the thing is that my problem right now is not the amount of sleep, it's the quality of my sleep because of the dreams I've been having. Holy moly. There was Sunday, Monday, Tuesday night. I dreamed a series. It was like fiction. It was like watching TV, but I was in it. And it was like the same characters and the same storyline and the everything 3 nights in a row. So vivid that I talk in my sleep. So I was waking myself up 2, 3, 4 times a night talking in my sleep, or I'd be talking in my sleep and Mister here would think I was talking to him, so he'd start talking back and wake me up. And it's funny when I wake up and I'm still talking and I keep talking until I'm fully awake. It's but I really wish I had written down the plot points on that series dream that I had because that would have probably been awesome. Would have probably been awesome. Oh my goodness, Heather. That's crazy. Wish I could sleep for 5 hours straight. That's the problem with a lot of people, I think, Rita, is that they don't get that amount of sleep. I don't really remember what it's like to wake up. I wake up and feel like I slept. But that's caffeine is a thing. Caffeine is a thing. And I'm not a napper. I know some people who are like power nappers here. Like could lay down and sleep for 20 minutes and then wake up and feel refreshed. My father was like that. It used to tick me off so bad. We'd be out like when we traveled together when he first started his business and I was working with him, and we would be traveling all over like the Maritimes, and he would be like, I need a nap. And he would literally pull over on the side of the highway, close his eyes, snore for 10 minutes, and then wake up and be ready to go again. And it used to drive me up the wall. He hated it because I can't nap. I'm that person that if I lay down for a nap, I'm sleeping for 3 hours and then I'm waking up wondering what year it is. It's crazy. Um, you're welcome, Cheryl, because yeah, I got hit pretty bad. Just with my sprints, I had to go change Chad's music because of that earlier this year. I think it was like March or April. And but you can always count on the stuff in the YouTube library. Okay. So I know that 15-minute nap on the side of the road. Oh, drove me up the wall. Hey, Jenna, how are you, sweetie? I was just telling everybody, Jenna, about how I haven't opened up the document you sent back to me. And it's ticking me off. But the plan is to start edits now on Wednesday, but not overloading my plate. Like I have a lot on, like most days right now, I'm done by 3 o'clock in the afternoon, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. No, it was supposed to be the 1st of July, but burnout's a thing, right? You did send it back way early. I actually wasn't planning on starting until August because I wanted to give you all of this time, but that's gravy and I appreciate you. I really, really do. I'd go in search of rocks or stretch my legs. I love that. But it used to drive me nuts when Dad did that. But yeah, so I have like lots of time to refill my well. I'm going to be doing some cross stitch. I'm going back into my cross stitch and teaching myself how to crochet. I have a friend, the lady who owns the salon where I was going and getting my nails done, has decided that she wants to invite some people over to craft at her house. So she said she was going to check, and her sister is like apparently the queen of the crochet hook, and she's going to help me. So I'm kind of excited about that. And just anything to refill my well. I actually have on my stickies, my Kanban stickies right here, um, once a month to spend a couple of hours, at least once a month playing Stardew Valley, because that's something I enjoy and I have not done. Um, I have played since the big update. I've put in not even 2 hours since the big update. So I'm really looking forward to dialing back this next 2 weeks. And I've been going to bed earlier. So, don't message me after 9 o'clock Atlantic time because I'm gonna be in bed. That's, I mean, I gotta do what I gotta do, right? And you know what? Going to bed early is underrated. I tell you right now, it is underrated. I am enjoying crawling into bed and listening to my meditation music at 9 o'clock at night and letting it just drift me off to sleep. Because who decided that we shouldn't go to bed unless the clock was at double digits? Who made that decision, right? Think about it. It used to be, shortly after dark, you went to bed and you were up at dawn, right? Because there were no clocks. Most people didn't have clocks. But I fell asleep at 9 last night. There is nothing wrong with that. There have been nights the last month or so that I've been sound asleep by 9:30, or I've gone to bed at 8:30 and just kind of laid in bed and just drifted. There's nothing wrong with that. And I do, because I'm a morning person, or I used to be. I used to be a morning person, and I miss that. Like, I miss waking up with the sun and getting up when everything is quiet and I've got the windows open and there's not even traffic on the road. Right? Because I live in the city. I mean, I can see the highway. I can see the major Canadian highway in Nova Scotia runs right by my apartment building. And waking up early in the morning and being able to sit outside on the deck and it be silent is a gift when you live in a city this size, right? I'm like a sim, I'm out by 11, right? When the energy bar is full, I love this. And this is it. This is it. And I think that I came to the conclusion that, I don't have to stick to a 9 to 5 schedule most days. We're going to have to see how the Mondays go for me, because that's a long day for me, because it's like 9 a.m. is when my consulting hours start. And then Scroll and Scribe is not over until 8:30 my time. That's a long day. And I also don't like to take time off in the middle of the day because I lose all motivation, right? Um, I don't know what this is. What's an EQ2? What's an EQ2, Cheryl? Now I'm regretting it. I will say my big reward for my 6 months for life stuff. I've pivoted a little bit on my Conquerors challenges, and I'm counting other things besides steps towards my mileage, because the one that I'm doing right now was like 80 kilometers. So I'm counting things like reading a craft book, or um, doing things for myself, because that's an issue sometimes, the doing things for myself. So I'm adding that because there's a conversion chart on the Conqueror website for things that aren't step related. And I know, like, there's a lot of people who use them for things like reading or studying. Like, people who, I'm on their Facebook group, and they have several people in there who are going for like master's degrees. and they're using the Conquerors challenges for motivation for studying, right? Oh, it's an online oh, EverQuest 2. EverQuest 2. Gotcha. Um, Tomorrow starts an hour of gym time each morning with a walk to and from. I love this, Jenna. I love this for you. I that's great. That's great. Um yeah, Kara, I really struggle doing things for myself. I hear you, hun. I hear you. It's hard. EverQuest 2 wasn't isn't that the game that Sarah and George were playing together when they met? I think EverQuest 2. Um I don't I've never played those kind of games. I'm more of a sim game player, so like The Sims, and I love Stardew Valley. It's probably my favorite game. Okay, so it was EverQuest 2. Um, yeah, I mean, I've played like I used to play a lot of like Final Fantasy and stuff like that, but then I gave my gaming systems to my son, and so I don't play them anymore. I do have the Tomb Raider 1, 2, and 3, the remaster. So I bought them. I pre-ordered them because everything was with man Tomb Raider 2. I can't tell you how many times I beat that game and haven't touched it. Haven't touched it. Isn't that ridiculous? Like my go-to game for the longest time was Tomb Raider 2, and then computers became what they were, and you couldn't play that game on computer anymore. It didn't support the game, and they remastered it, and I was so excited that I shelled out the money and I pre-ordered it at full price, and then I get it and crickets, because I don't take the time to do these things for myself. And it's kind of sad. This is I like those games. Oh, I don't know if there's there's got to be a name for them, where like you have not turn-based, like the quest built games, like where you do the levels and you have to go and build this many houses and you have to collect this much food and I like those kind of games. I used to play them a lot. I don't anymore. I don't even have them on my computer anymore. And that's the only reason I recognize the name. I was like, I'm pretty sure it was EverQuest 2. Pretty sure. See, this is it. Time. Yeah. I use that excuse. I'm not saying it's an excuse for you, Jenna, because it totally is not. But for me, saying I don't have the time to play a game is ridiculous. It's crap. At least it is now. It wasn't for the last like maybe 4 to 6 months. But now it is, because I have the time. I'm just not taking it. Right? I'm not taking it. Oh, that's right. So every time she mentions it, makes me regret the decision of limiting myself. Well, she did say to Cheryl that you can go join their guild because they're looking for more people in their guild. Just saying, being a bad influence here. Evermerge. Yes. Okay. So I played Evermerge for a little while. Wasn't a fan. I have been playing the game on my phone called Heyday since it came out over 10 years ago. And it's one of those games, I really like it because I can go in and spend 10, 15 minutes maybe playing, and then I have to wait, right? Because it's a farming game, so you have to put things in the machines and then you have to wait for it to do, right? And I've been playing that game, and I've been playing with the same people, like in the same neighborhood. We've been playing together for 10 years. I've never spoken to these people outside of the game. I don't know I know where some of them live, like, country wise, but oh my God, yes. Yes. I have it on my phone right now. I was just playing it before we started here. Right? Their guild is probably a good influence, right? Right? This is I absolutely like they if I was going to play that type of game, it would probably be EverQuest 2 just because Sarah talks about how much she loves it. But my big thing, my favorite thing in the world is my planner nest. I have 6 pillows on my bed. 6 pillows. And it's for making a nest. And I make a little nest and the TV goes on, and like the last couple of weeks I've actually been watching TV that I've never watched before. So I watched like The Haunting of Hill House and The Haunting of Bly Manor, which wasn't as good as Hill House. And then I found Midnight Mass, which is the same, people. But I had to stop watching it because it's all about a Catholic priest, and they go really into detail about the masses and stuff. And I have some religious trauma from being raised a Catholic, and I'd stopped watching it. I started watching 1899, and I've seen the first 2 episodes, and it is twisted. It's twisted. So, but now I'm back into season 1 of Supernatural again. But that's just because I want something playing in the background while I'm cross-stitching or knitting or something like that. I have a horse I need to make for Evie and get it to her by Christmas. So I want to get that done. The Haunting of Hill House, so good. I don't know how I missed it because I love me some horror, and I don't know how I missed it when it came out. I need to find a game to play. Depends on what you like, sweetheart. If you like those farming sim games, I would suggest Heyday. I really would, because it's like totally one of these no pressure games. Like totally a no pressure game. This is it. I only go to, I think it's season 12, 13, the one where, Lucifer's son is born. And then I lose interest. After the going into the other realm where the angels are in power. I lost interest in it after that, and I stopped watching it. But I just finished 15 seasons of Criminal Minds again for the same thing, background noise. It's my comfort shows, right? And having those on in the background where I don't really have to pay attention, I really like that. But these last couple of weeks, I've been finding that I've had that on, but then I also have my phone in my hand. And I need to stop that. Yeah, but the jokes. But the jokes. Oh my God, that's my favorite season. It's my favorite season because of the jokes. I just can't. It's just too funny. Oh my gosh. But I really enjoy anything with Rowena in it. Any of those, those seasons with Rowena, because I think she's one of the most beautiful women on television, and she's a superb actress, and I just love her. So, yeah, I will be starting. I started last night, right from the pilot again. So we'll see. The churchy stuff is, yeah, it's not the way that you really think of church, though. It's like religious, but angels are big jerks, and I kind of liked that. But each to their own. Criminal Minds is just, I need to get the new seasons, like when they started up again there a couple years ago. I need to get those. You can get them on Blu-ray, so I need to do that. That'll probably be my the first one is on my writing rewards Amazon list as the reward for publishing Vengeful Soul. So that is my plan. Listen, you guys, this has been amazing because now I have some energy. I love hanging out with you guys. Why does super right? I don't know why. It just is. I mean, I always preferred Supernatural when it was a Monster of the Week show, for the first few seasons. But I do like the Castiel character. Like my favorite thing was when he went and drank an entire liquor store and he was drunk. That was that was my favorite. The sound mixing, yes, I agree. Plus the music. The music. I like the music that they play during the show. Like the classic rock. I do enjoy that very, very much. But listen, my loves, we've been here an hour and it's 4 o'clock here. So I think it's time for me to finally end my day and go put Supernatural on in the background. But thank you so much for listening to me going on about the burnout. I love hanging out with you guys. Being able to talk about my books has spiked some excitement in me again. I really appreciate that. Thank you so, so much. I am going to be back on Tuesday on the other channel, which is linked here. I just noticed they do that now here on YouTube. If you scroll all the way to the bottom, it shows there's a link to the Scroll and Scribe channel. So if you're not already subscribed there, please do so. Tuesday's Tough Love Tuesday is going to be about guilty pleasures. So speaking of Supernatural and that sort of thing, going to have a lot of fun with that. So I will hopefully see most of you there. And in the meantime, please, please take care of yourselves. I love you guys to bits. And we will see you all in the sprints. Bye.